Fish are one of the most biologically diverse groups of organisms, but they are experiencing a decline in global biodiversity. This decline will result in a loss of cultural knowledge that existed before modern science. Threats to biodiversity of fish include climate change, introduced species, dams, overfishing, and decline in water quality. Threats that go unaddressed impact cultural knowledge that indigenous people rely on to continue cultural practices at traditional locations. We've highlighted 5 species of fish that are culturally relevant to native people from Flathead to New Zealand. The bull trout is native to Flathead Lake and other bodies of water in northwestern North America. Bull trout are an endangered species due in part to their exacting habitat demands. In order to reproduce, bull trout require very cold water temperatures and very low amounts of silt. Both conditions are heavily affected by human infrastructure and contribute to the decreasing population. Introduction of non-native species in the early 1900s, like the kokanee salmon, mysis shrimp, and lake trout, caused the flathead population of bull trout to drop from 20,000 in the early 1950s to a present-day estimate of only 3,000 adults. The native bull trout has continued to hold special significance within the Confederated Salish Kootenai tribes, as efforts to restore the population are continuously underway. The Pacific lamprey is a visually distinct fish due to its lack of jaws and paired fins, typical in almost all other fish species. The lamprey holds cultural significance among many tribes in the Northwest. Yakima, Warm Springs, and Nez Perce are among the tribes that play a pivotal role in the conservation and management of the lamprey. Dams, specifically, continue to impact migration to historic spawning grounds. Not only have lamprey been a traditional food source for indigenous peoples, they are also valued for being rich in oils that have been used for fuel in lamps, hair conditioner, and to even cure earaches. The lake sturgeon is a North American freshwater fish and evolutionary ancient bottom feeder. The lake sturgeon is found at the bottom of lakes and rivers, frequently in the Great Lakes. Traditionally, the sturgeon was harvested for both food and oil. More importantly, during the spawning of the sturgeon, tribes would come together in peace. Because food was plentiful, they did not have to worry about conflict. The lake sturgeon has cultural importance in the Cree and Ottawa tribes, to name a few. The continued existence of the lake sturgeon allows younger generations to learn of the fish's cultural significance. Oahu, or the Hawaiian freshwater goby, has long been an important food source for Hawaiian tribes, as well as an important part of tribal ceremonies devoted to leaving the gods offerings to make the oahu fat and plentiful. There are several different species of oahu, some of which are eaten, others are considered undesirable for consumption. Oahu means cling. The fish were given this name because of their ability to cling to and scale waterfalls hundreds of feet high. The longfin eel plays an important role for the indigenous people of New Zealand. While the longfin is the longest living freshwater eel species in the world, they have been a consistent and important food source for the Maori people. Some longfin live to be over 60 years old and can reach over 2 meters in length. Their great size is believed to be the reason this species holds significance among the Maori people. The Maori refer to some of these eels as sacred, spiritual beings. Killing one of the sacred eels is said to result in a curse upon the individual. Like many other species, the longfin eel is not what it once was. Over time, commercial fishing has greatly impacted the average size and population densities of the longfin. The decline of biodiversity and species numbers have paralleled the plane of traditional knowledge and cultural practices of native peoples. Adopting a traditional, knowledge-based approach to conservation represents an opportunity to reverse this trend.